I almost want to say, do you feel lucky? Huh? Do you feel lucky? Anyway, listen, today is a very important day. It is World No Tobacco Day, and statistics in South Africa are actually quite shocking. An estimated 8 million South Africans smoke, and in a year, we go through about 27 billion cigarettes. And if you calculate that, we actually made these calculations, if you line these cigarettes up, bud to bud, that would actually equal the distance that you would travel from the Earth to the Moon 3 times back. That is absolutely shocking. So this year, the Heart and Stroke Foundation of South Africa is putting a special emphasis on the damaging effects of smoking on children. We're joined this morning by pediatrician Professor Tony Westwood, who represents the Heart and Stroke Foundation. And thank you very much for being here this morning. And in your line of work, Professor, you focus on the secondhand, or the effects of secondhand smoking on children. What have you found, and what are the major risks that children are exposed to if they are exposed to this kind of smoke?
Thank you for being here. We just had Eastwood, now we've got Westwood. So it's very, very important and an unthought of, I think, often side of cigarette smoking. So the main effect is on the lungs and the upper respiratory tract. And I've got a little friend here who I'd like to help me to tell this story. This is Lindy, and she is representing children in the country today because they're the ones who are the passive smokers to a large extent. And if a child breathes in smoke, there are little hairs in the lungs and the ears and the throat and the nose that move all mucus, etc., out so that we can get rid of bugs, etc. So you can see in her arm here, it's going out all the time. And those are called cilia. And if those get paralyzed, which they do by cigarette smoke, then little kids can't get the things that the gubbins that they breathe in through our pollution, through bugs and things like that, viruses, etc. They can't get them out of their chests or their noses or their ears, and they're much more likely to get infections, end up in hospital, or actually damaging their lungs.
Yeah.
Sorry, she's very overawed by being here. She's just going to whisper something in my pocket,
okay.
in my ear, if that's all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, she's made a little joke. She says that there's nothing much sillier than smoking near children. So she's taken the word cilia, and she says it could be cilia. Sorry, just to tell people about that. So she's very concerned.
I can gather that. And what about, I mean, when you speak to fathers of unborn babies, is there a danger there when a dad smokes and, you know, mommy's still pregnant? Let's say mommy doesn't smoke.
Well, yes, there is. So unfortunately, and just imagine that she's now going to be born through me. I'm her mother.
Yes.
I'm breathing in the smoke. She's got her little umbilicus here. All the oxygen is going from her mother into the baby. Now, what happens when all the toxins from cigarette smoke go in? Mothers breathe them in, or she may even breathe them in through smoking herself.
Yes.
Or through breathing in somebody else's smoke. Goes through here and actually stops oxygen going properly to the various organs of the child. So when the child is, before being born, is not growing properly, has a reasonable chance of being born early, may even die inside the mother's womb.
Wow.
Increased chance of that. So if he is born, here she comes, and she wants to tell everybody she would have been much bigger if her mother hadn't smoked, and if her father hadn't smoked, and if nobody had smoked around the pregnant woman.
Yeah.
So she's rather upset by this.
And you know, an even stranger thing when you consider the financial impact with, you know, cigarette boxes, I think costing up to something like 45 Rand a day. You could be spending up to 1,300 Rand a month on just smoking. So if you are a concerned parent and you do want to stop smoking, or you don't want, obviously getting yourself out of that environment is that first thing. But how do you stop smoking? What is the first step to take?
The first step has already been taken if you really want to, because that is the first step. Not a vague hope that you might stop smoking one day, but look at the effect of your smoke on your children or other people's children and say, I'm going to give up. Then you need to set a date. You need to say when it's going to be. But you're not going to be able to do this on your own. You need to get your friends. You need to get your friends in, tell them what you're planning, and tell them that you're going to need their support. Then you need to think through. You need to do a lot of preparation. You need to think through how your thoughts are going to be when that craving comes. And you need to anticipate, you need to have a conversation with yourself so that you can imagine what it's going to be like, the craving, and you're going to say, what am I going to do? How am I going to cope with these strong thoughts?
Yeah.
And then you need to think about the situations where you like to smoke, where you go and you think, that's where I'm going to smoke, and you anticipate and you avoid those situations. So if it's watching a particular program on TV, that's when you pick up your smoke. Well, don't watch that program on TV, do something else.
Right.
And you need to also often speak to a health professional who can give you advice, and sometimes medicine is necessary to help you do that.
Thank you very much, Professor. We appreciate it. And of course, share your thoughts with us on social media. Today is #World No Tobacco Day.